now I want to show you if you have worked on your assignment and you closed RStudio and now later you want to open that project again. I want to show you what it might look like. It may be different for different people, so don't worry if yours doesn't look exactly the same. So you can do it in one of two ways. So you can either go to the folder where you saved everything and find your project file and just double click on that. That is a foolproof way for you to open your project. That will definitely work. So you can double click on that and then RStudio will open and you will automatically be inside the project file you used. So that's probably the best way to do it. But I just want to show you what it might look like if you open just RStudio without opening specifically your project file. So for many of you, even if you do that, if you just open RStudio from wherever your shortcut is, for many of you, your project will open automatically as well, because it sometimes opens by default the last project that you were working on. So if the last project you were working on is the one that we are using for the assignment, then it would have opened there automatically. If it didn't, and it looks like mine, as you can see, mine just opened the software, but we're not in a project. You know we're not in a project because it says over here in the top right hand corner it says project none. So the easiest way to get into your project again is to click on this, and then there's a list of projects here. So for me, I have a long list because there are different projects that I work on, but as you can see the last one that I was working on was this one for the assignment. Mine was called student folder. Yours will be called whatever you called your folder where you saved everything. So then just click on that and wait, and RStudio will reload, and it's going to load that project for you. And you know you're in that project because this now changed and it's now called whatever your project is called. Okay, so here we are back in RStudio. I showed you how to open a file, but if this file was open the last time you worked on the project, it's still going to be open, so you don't have to open it again. I wanted to show you something else. So in the previous session I showed you an example of another R Markdown file. So you've already seen that you can have many files open in different tabs here. So I want to show you just quickly how to open another, just to make a new file. So if you go to File and you hover over New File, you'll see it expands and there's a whole drop-down list of files that you can possibly create. You might use some of them. If you keep on using R, you'll learn about some of them, but for now we're just going to create a new R script. So if I click on that, as you can see, R automatically opens a new tab here. My other file isn't gone, it's still there, but we opened a new tab. And over here I can type, but I want to explain to you what the difference is between this new file we created and this file. So this is a R Markdown file. So that is a very specific file inside R. And if I want to create it, I specifically have to put this at the top. And like I said before, there's just normal text and there's code. And it's a very specific type of file inside RStudio. But this file that we just created, when we said File, New File, we said R Script. So that is different from an R Markdown file. It's not the same thing. Because here, third on the list, you can see R Markdown. So if I wanted to create another R Markdown file, I would have selected this thing. But that's not what I want to do now. I just want to create a normal script. This is just the default script in R. So if I create that like I did, this is not an R Markdown file, this is just an R script. So it doesn't work the same as the R Markdown file. There isn't this headings with hashtags and there's no code chunks. This whole thing is like a code chunk. This whole file is just full of code. So over here, if I use the hashtag here and I type, this will be a comment. So like I said, in the R Markdown file, when we were inside a code chunk, like here, this whole file is like a code chunk, only a code chunk. There's no normal text inside this file. Everything is code. So if I don't want it to be code and I just want to write a comment, sorry, I'm typing with one hand here. If I'm writing a comment, if I make a hashtag, then that's going to be a comment. And as before, if I wanted to know the answer to 1 + 1 and I wanted to run the code, then it will give me the output here in the console. The answer is 2. I ran it the same way. I ran the code the same way I ran it before in the R Markdown file inside a code chunk by pressing Control-Enter when my cursor is in the same line. But the reason I'm showing you this is because sometimes you just want to try something first, and you may feel like there isn't enough space for you to write here. So there will come a time when I'm going to ask you to write your own code here, and you might be worried that you're going to mess up this document, or you might accidentally delete something, and you just first want to practice your code. Then this is how you can do it. You create a new R script for yourself here, and then you can you can practice your code, and it's just like a notepad for you. It's not going to break anything inside the other file. It's just going to be a place for you to practice, and then once you have what you want, you can copy your text and go back to your other file and paste it. You don't have to do it like that. You can practice inside this document. I've just learned before that some students, they're sort of afraid that they'll break something inside this document, and so they prefer to just practice and quickly work out some other things in another document. So that's how you would do that.